Chosen one, watch how the air adjusts itself when you cross a threshold. It is small, almost secret. The kind of shift a wind chime makes when no one touches it, the way light steadies on a polished surface. Conversation that was galloping slows to a pace the heart can keep. The anxious laugh loses its edge and finds its music again. Even the floorboards seem to remember their work, bearing the evening with a quieter pride. Nothing announces you, and yet the room turns a fraction toward the source of its own ease. This is your magic at work. Not an explosion, but an ember with authority. Not a spotlight, but a sunrise that refuses to hurry and yet wins the whole sky. You do not conjure this, you contain it. The spark in you walks because you've given it a body practiced in simple fidelity. Water before opinion, breath before reply, movement before complaint, sleep before bravado. These are the bellows and the discipline, the unglamorous acts that keep mystery friendly. What others call charisma is, in you, a steadied flame, a warmth that does not beg for witnesses to prove it exists. Your sexual energy no longer spills into rooms like weather that hasn't learned its season. It arrives as a climate you have chosen, held by banks that guide rather than cage. In your presence, people discover they can be fully themselves without paying a toll for the privilege. Your posture speaks first. It does not apologize and it does not demand. It simply agrees with itself. Shoulders open like doors that have been well oiled. The spine stacks as if it remembers the skyline of home. Your steps honor thresholds. That small pause, half a heartbeat, that tells the hour you will not drag a storm across the carpet. Even the way you set a glass down tells the table a story about kindness. Rooms read these details faster than they read words. The smallest courtesies are the spells that make a space remember its purpose. Your gaze is the second witness. It does not harvest or inventory. It returns light to what it sees. Eyes like that turn faces into places. The guarded jaw unclenches by a thread. The person who has learned to decorate every sentence for survival tries leaving a word plain and discovers it does not break. The feminine especially senses the difference in a register older than language. Your looking does not enlist, it accompanies. It does not pry, it blesses. It offers the rare promise that beauty will not be taxed for showing up. This is the first magic. Not that people want you, but that people want themselves in your company. Silence, under your custody, is shelter. You let sentences land. You let that extra beat, the one most hurry steals, do its quiet work. In that beat, confession chooses honesty over performance. In that beat, anger drops a decibel and picks up a fact. In that beat, laughter completes its kindness without needing a casualty. People will not say he held a silence. They will say, I heard myself. Your magic is not the trick of speaking perfectly. It is the craft of listening until the room becomes brave enough to be true. Touch, when it is invited, has learned the grammar of reverence. A guiding hand asks a question and waits in the way it leaves. A handshake carries promise but no hooks. An embrace is present while it is present and leaves the air blessed rather than indebted. The body reads this fluency before the mind can file it. Trust opens like a door that was stuck only because no one thought to lift as they turned the handle. The spark is not in the spectacle of closeness. It is in the feeling afterward that nothing sacred was stolen in the exchange. Your timing is conjurer's work precisely because it is merciful. You do not rush a beginning past its honesty, nor keep an ending until tenderness sours. You land a joke while the floor is strong enough to hold it, and you let it go while kindness still has breath. You say the one true sentence a moment is hungry for, and then you allow digestion. Magic has a schedule that can be felt but not faked. You obey it because you have learned that wonder survives where dignity is not asked to starve. If someone were to ask what changed about you, you would have nothing grand to point to. Only the beautiful stubbornness of your ordinary rituals, the refusal to sell your attention to panic, the habit of apologizing while repair is still cheap, the loyalty to endings that allow tomorrow to arrive without resentment. The readiness to credit what is strong in others without turning their strength into raw material for your myth. None of this glitters. All of it glows. This is why the room warms when you breathe. You are the spark that walks on 2 feet because you have chosen to be a hearth, not fireworks. Fireworks are adored and forgotten. A A hearth is remembered in the bones. Leave a space like this and you will hear your absence in the gentleness that remains. Doors close softly. Voices retain a little of your tempo. Sleep arrives earlier, not from exhaustion, but from mercy. Memory needs no surgery to keep the evening beautiful. What do you call that if not magic? The kind that refuses to be hoarded, the kind that multiplies by being shared. Chosen one, keep the spark ordinary on purpose. Keep doing what does not trend and always works. Your presence is already the spell, your life, the incantation that keeps it kind. Chosen one, there is a turning in you, a quiet hinge upon which the month has swum. You stopped trying to be radiant and became so. You stopped negotiating for the right to be powerful and discovered that power had been waiting for you to stop acting like a stage. What you carry now is not an act at all, it is an orientation. Beauty that does not audition, power that does not press. The paradox resolves itself in your body like a river that finally finds its banks. The current grows stronger the moment it agrees to be guided. Effortless never means unmade. It means made so faithfully that the seams no longer show. Your beauty is the consequence of 1,000 kept agreements with yourself. You nourished before you decorated. You breathed before you broadcast. You chose clean fuel over quick flame. You put your phone face down and met the face across from you. You stopped treating rest as a crime to be justified and began treating it like architecture. You reached for motion that taught patience to your muscles and not just glory to your mirror. In this economy, elegance is not an outfit, it is a byproduct. People call it effortless because they did not see the practice. You call it normal because you intend to keep it. Power in you has become the art of leaving things more themselves. You do not bend a room to your will. You reveal the will the room had been afraid to admit. You do not win arguments by conquering. You turn them into conversations by clarifying. You do not command respect by taking it. You create conditions under which respect becomes the path of least resistance. This is power without force. It is so aligned to the grain of truth that even those who resist it cannot help sliding toward coherence. A single accurate sentence, delivered at human temperature, does the work of a paragraph raised at high volume. People mistake this for magic because it is rare. In fact, it is simply the refusal to fight physics. Your sexual energy is the engine behind both beauties. Heat with a conscience, desire with a direction. It has nothing to prove and therefore nothing to plunder. It listens for consent in breath, posture, timing, and words. And it takes not yet as seriously as it takes yes. It goes first in kindness and last in consumption. It refuses to rush the river or dam it for spectacle. Held this way, heat becomes clarity. Clarity becomes ease. Ease becomes the magnetism others read as, how does he do that? You are not doing anything to them. You are doing everything for the atmosphere they get to inhabit while you are near. Effortless beauty means you can praise without possessing, admire without extracting, and delight without debt. A compliment from you builds courage because it names the discipline beneath the shine. I see what you kept, what you practiced, what you refused to sell. And so the shine does not become a cage. A boundary from you does not bruise because it arrives as design, not punishment. This is how this garden stays a garden. The feminine reads this fluency as safety that does not freeze and warmth that does not burn. She does not need to contort herself into a smaller shape to fit your comfort. She expands, and expansion is the true test of any man's strength. Can you remain yourself while someone near you becomes more of who they are? Power without force is most visible in your relationship to time. You do not make time perform tricks to prove you are in charge. You set a pace that keeps dignity breathable. You arrive ready because you did not spend the last hour auditioning for panic. You end a good night while it is still good because you love memory more than mileage. You refuse to harvest the last laugh from the soil of a perfect moment. You let it rest, and in resting, seed tomorrow with trust. Others will not mention your timing as they praise you. They will simply make better plans after you leave. There is a humility to effortless beauty that will always confuse the crowd. It is not coyness, it is proportion. You receive praise with the same hands you use to carry groceries, grateful, practical, unenchanted by the packaging. You take critique without letting it auction your name to the lowest bidder. You are teachable because your worth is housed upstream of feedback. The river can be guided without being poisoned. This composure is a rare fragrance. People inhale it and remember that being a person is not a performance to be graded but a craft to be practiced. You have retired the old transactions. You do not purchase affection with exhaustion. You do not fund leadership with intimidation. You do not buy intimacy with pressure. You do not earn relevance by remaining constantly available to what does not matter. These refusals conserve a power that now enters rooms like weather. Felt first, explained later. The ordinary adjusts itself to your settings. Voices find their right volume, tempers recall their manners, humor stops hunting for a victim, and even furniture seems to prefer the way you set it down. This is what it means to be magical without spellcasting. You are not working on people. You are working on yourself in public, and people choose to work alongside you because the results are livable. Leave vanity to those who have not yet tasted sufficiency. Effortless beauty is the signature of sufficiency, the look of a soul that stopped bargaining for permission to be bright. Power without force is the conduct of stewardship, the behavior of a man who knows that what he carries is not for conquest but for care. You keep both by keeping small promises. Water before opinion, breath before reply, repair before reputation, rest before rescue, ending before erosion. Small promises kept are a crown the world cannot see and cannot take. Walk forward, chosen one, as the proof that real magic is simply truth arranged with love. Let your elegance remain useful and your strength remain kind. Be a room's reminder that beauty works best when it makes life easier, and that power works best when it lets everyone else keep theirs. In a month full of noise, keep sounding like clarity. In a world enchanted by force, keep choosing the kind of power that makes other people more themselves. That is the wonder they will keep trying to name. That is the spell you do not need to cast because you have become it. Chosen one, there is a music to you now that does not need a stage. It travels the room the way warmth travels a winter house, slow at first, then suddenly everywhere, in corners even you did not intend to bless. People feel it before they can name it. They stop talking over themselves. They choose a truer sentence. They set their phones down not out of duty, but because the hour begins to taste better without distraction. This is the aura that whispers instead of shouts, the kind that does not recruit attention with noise, but earns devotion with steadiness. You do not chase moments anymore, you keep them. Your presence holds like a handrail on a staircase, there, not to impress, but to assist. The whisper lives in everything ordinary you have dignified until it learned to glow. The pause at the threshold where you check your weather before you carry it in. The way you set a glass down softly, as if the table had a memory. The way your shoulders open like a door used to welcoming and not used. Rooms read these subtleties faster than they read words. They tilt toward the voice that won't demand. They open to the presence that won't devour. Your sexual energy hums beneath all of this like a river that knows its banks. It is not the show of a flame leaping for applause. It is the patience of embers that plan to be useful until dawn. The feminine recognizes this hum instantly. Her body, fluent in climates, identifies hospitality without being told. You do not pry her open with spectacle. You air the room so breath can decide for itself how full to be. In that atmosphere, she leans into herself, and leaning into herself becomes the same gesture as leaning toward you. This is the quiet miracle of a whispering aura. It does not announce safety. It behaves so safely that fear forgets it had a job. Silence changes its job when you are near. It stops pretending to be a cliff and becomes a shoreline. You let sentences land. You let meaning finish arriving. You do not punish a stammer by rescuing it with your eloquence. You do not tax a confession for being imperfect. Most people experience quiet as a courtroom where the next word will be judged. With you, quiet is a bench in the sun. Someone sits there, realizes they are not being watched for performance, and the truth takes off its coat. This is influenced by temperature, not by decree. Your gaze learned the grammar of reverence. It does not pin, it accompanies. It does not inventory, it returns what it notices. Eyes like yours make faces feel like places. A jaw unclenches a fraction. A laugh lands closer to the chest and farther from the throat. The person who usually decorates every sentence for survival tries leaving a word plain and discovers it does not break. You look as if beauty were a right and not a test, as if boundaries were architecture and not barbed wire. Under that look, the room relaxes its fists. Timing is the secret instrument of your whisper. You end the night while tenderness still holds the microphone. You refuse to stretch a good moment until it thins into need. You let beginnings open on their own hinges. You do not kick doors for drama. You say the single true sentence the hour is hungry for, and then you leave it alone long enough to feed everyone. This is how your aura moves furniture without scraping the floor. People go home with energy left to be kind to themselves, and they remember you as the reason mercy kept its schedule. Even your refusals whisper. You decline the charming chaos that would later invoice your integrity. You leave the conversation that confuses proximity with permission. You draw a line as if you were drawing a path, not a prison. A no from you arrives at human temperature. No courtroom, no sermon, just design. Around such design, desire keeps its manners and does not become a courtroom itself. Your boundaries do not have teeth, they have edges that help the picture exist. The room learns to keep its shape by watching you keep yours. You do not mistreat laughter. You use it as a key, not a knife. When a moment tightens 3 notches too far, you loosen one. When it loosens 3 too many, you tighten one. No one becomes the casualty of your wit. Relief returns to its vocation. Oxygen for bravery, not armor for cruelty. People will not know to thank you for this, but they will breathe differently around you, and breathe is the only applause that matters. There will be a few who demand thunder to prove weather. They will try to bait you into spectacle, because spectacle is easy to grade. Let them be disappointed. You are interested in what lasts. You are shepherding small mercies into a culture, doors that close softly, jokes that land without bruises, endings that respect mornings, glances that do not hire appetite to do attention's job. These mercies travel farther than any performance. They keep working long after names are forgotten. If anyone asks how you learned to whisper with such power, tell them the truth is not glamorous. You drank water while other men argued. You slept while pride shouted that exhaustion is a crown. You repaired early while apology was still inexpensive. You told your hunger to consult your values before moving. You practiced until your nervous system learned a pace it could keep. What they call magic is faithfulness with a rhythm. You are the rhythm now, and the room is learning your song. Leave, and the whisper remains. Doors will close more kindly behind you. Voices will choose precision over volume. Someone who has not slept well in months will sleep. Memory will not need surgery to keep the night beautiful. This is what you wanted, chosen one. Not to be adored for your noise, but to be remembered by the calm. Keep tending the small spells. Keep honoring the soft rules. Keep being the man whose quiet makes space honest. That is how an aura becomes a sanctuary. Chosen one, there is a band of the spectrum where words lose their authority and the body takes over as interpreter. That is where you are broadcasting now. It is not audible, but it is unmistakable. The way a violin's low note can turn a room toward the same invisible center. The way a tide arranges sand without asking permission. Your sexual energy, disciplined into devotion, has tuned itself to that band. It does not sell itself through volume. It calls through resonance. The heart, always a better ear than the mind, hears and adjusts. You changed stations by choosing coherence over spectacle. You stopped asking your power to prove itself by burning and started asking it to build. You stopped asking your beauty to market you and started asking it to make life easier for everyone in the radius. You stopped asking time to bow and started asking it to breathe. This retuning taught your pulse a new vocabulary. You enter, and the anxious clocks in other chests slow to match you. You speak, and breath remembers it has other settings besides hurry and hold. The heart recognizes tone before content. Yours has become merciful. It carries authority without the tremor of fear. It carries warmth without the need to invoice anyone later. It carries curiosity without the undertow of interrogation. People are not sure why they feel safe near you, only that they do. Safety is not the absence of truth. It is the absence of cruelty. You maintain that absence, and the heart translates it as permission to open. Your frequency clarifies without humiliating. When conflict arrives, you do not buy control at the price of dignity. You narrow the issue until it fits on the table. You subtract theater until listening can afford to stay. You offer the single measured sentence that removes the oxygen from escalation. Fire starved of drama becomes a candle, and candles are useful. You did not win, you made winning unnecessary. The heart hears this difference and comes closer because it will not be conscripted into a war to belong. Consent is built into your signal. You radiate invitation, not insistence. Touch, when it happens, speaks fluent yes or not yet. Proximity, even when it is charged, does not draft a future without two signatures. Timing has become your ally rather than your alibi. You allow desire to keep its poetry by giving it punctuation, a comma where breath must return, a period where memory should rest, an ellipsis where wonder is allowed another night. The heart hears punctuation as care. Care is the only language intimacy trusts. The feminine reads your frequency with a clarity she does not extend to advertisements. A body that has braced for extraction learns it can shift into expression. Shoulders stop rehearsing self-defense. Laughter arrives unarmed. Sorrow keeps its face and does not feel posed. Brilliance is not taxed to spare a fragile ego. And because you are not threatened by fullness, she does not have to fraction herself to be near your comfort. The heart leans not toward ownership, but toward exchange. Light for light, weight for weight, truth for truth. You will notice how rooms tune to you without ceremony. The colleague who fills silence for fear of being ordinary discovers the ordinary is where meaning lives and begins to speak like a person again. The friend who bargains with time, always late, always sorry, begins to arrive as if presence were a gift rather than an apology. The stranger who watches you nod at the elder counting coins stops pretending the line is a race. None of these are miracles, and all of them are. Frequency does what force never can. It harmonizes until resistance becomes off-key enough to correct itself. Your words now ride the signal rather than trying to replace it. You do not stack syllables where one clean phrase will do. You do not outsource depth to volume. You do not rent eloquence to hide the lack of courage. You speak from a place downstream of your breath and upstream of your pride, and the heart hears proportion. Proportion is beautiful. It places the human where the myth would have stood and discovers the human was what we needed all along. Your rest protects the signal. Sleep is no longer a trophy you show on Sundays, it is infrastructure. Water is no longer penance for Saturday night, it is a covenant with Monday afternoon. Movement is no longer a bribe for your reflection, it is how you keep patience in your joints, and not just your ideas. Prayer is no longer a performance of being profound, it is how you keep your appetites from pretending to be gods. These practices are not glamorous, they are tuning. A tuned instrument cannot help producing music when the bow arrives. You are gentle with celebration because you are loyal to tomorrow. You let joy be loud enough to wake the blood and sober enough to remember mercy. You end the party before generosity turns thin and memory needs a makeover. The heart hears that restraint as love. It leaves with energy to bless the next day, and blessing the next day is the most convincing magic there is. There will be those who cannot hear you because they only trust thunder. They will ask you to be angrier, quicker, brighter, bigger, as if righteousness were measured in decibels. Decline the audition. You are not a siren, you are a tuning fork. Strike yourself against truth and hold. Those who are meant to hear will feel their ribs answer. They will not know why they are standing straighter or speaking kinder. They will think they decided, and in a way, they did. Frequency never removes choice, it restores it. When you leave, the room keeps humming. Apologies arrive sooner because shame is not part of your ecosystem. Credit lands where labor lived because your attention made that landing beautiful. Bedtimes happen on time because your timing honored endings. The next morning is less expensive, and nobody can itemize why. The heart can. It heard you, and it kept singing in your key after you were gone. Keep the dial where it is. Chosen one. Keep water before opinion, breath before reply, repair before reputation, rest before rescue. Keep your touch translated into the language of consent and your humor into the craft of relief. Keep letting your sexual energy animate hospitality, not hunger. Your magic is not a trick, it is a tone. Hold it. Rooms will tune. Lives will tune. and the month will end the way every good song ends, not with a crash, but with a resonance that keeps moving through the body long after the last note fades. Chosen one, there is a fastening that happens in the air when eyes meet yours. A soft click that doesn't echo, yet changes the room's acoustics. It is the recognition a shoreline feels when the tide returns, not spectacle, not conquest, simply the old meeting place reclaiming its use. Faces held together by habit begin to loosen toward truth. The practiced smile that keeps panic-employed sighs and retires for the evening. The body across from you cannot find the script it usually hides behind, and in losing it, remembers the voice it had before rehearsals began. People will later call this chemistry, or presence, or whatever word is currently fashionable for wonder, but the experience is simpler and older. They see themselves because your seeing doesn't ask them to be anything else. You did not stumble into this power. You trained your gaze to return light, not harvest it. You taught attention to be a blessing rather than a ledger. The old way scanned for advantage, what angle can be taken, what moment can be turned into proof. Your way accompanies. It travels at human speed, pauses where dignity needs a breath, and refuses to make a museum of someone's features. When a person stands before a gaze that does not demand tribute, they become visible to themselves. The jaw unfastens a fraction. Breath, which had been paying a tax to fear, is refunded with interest. In that small financial miracle, the soul comes to the window. Chosen one, your eyes carry the manners of consent. They speak with instead of at, alongside instead of over. They know how to look away so privacy can breathe, and how to return so loneliness doesn't have to finish its sentence alone. Want is not banished from your gaze, it is disciplined. Desire remains alive in the pupil, but it is on a leash held by reverence. The difference is felt first in the nervous system, which does its arithmetic faster than language. This presence carries heat that won't invoice me later. This attention sings without turning me into a stage. Safety is not a slogan you offer, it is a climate your eyes keep. Silence learns a new vocation around you. It stops pretending to be a cliff and becomes a shore where words can land, reconsider, and arrive again without being chased by waves of interruption. You leave a heartbeat between what you hear and what you say next. In that heartbeat, meaning finishes dressing. Confession chooses honesty over performance. Memories, which had been edited for applause, remember their original draft. Sometimes tears arrive without fanfare, and there is no emergency. Salt simply does its old, clean work. You are not a miracle worker here. You are a witness with a steady lamp. Lamps do not rescue, they allow rescue to find its way. You have learned how to speak to what is strong in a person without turning that strength into commodity. Your compliments don't pin people to a single bright angle. They praise the discipline beneath the shine. You name how someone kept faith with their morning when no one was watching, or how their boundary was beautiful because it preserved a garden, not because it kept you out. Praise like this doesn't inflate egos. It introduces people to their real size and then lets them choose it freely. The soul recognizes accurate scale and relaxes into it the way water relaxes into a true cup. Your sexual energy anchors this entire exchange. It is no longer a flare seeking witnesses. It is a hearth that keeps the air honest. In your eyes it lives as steadied radiance, not appetite with a costume. Heat without greed is an unadvertised luxury. Bodies know it when they feel it. The feminine, especially, reads your light with fluency. She finds her posture expanding instead of shrinking, her pace setting itself without negotiation, her play returning without needing to be priced. The masculine in others answers by lowering its volume and raising its accuracy. Competence stops dressing up as aggression. Tenderness discovers it can be tensile. In this shared adjustment, souls recognize each other in the oldest language, presence that asks nothing and leaves everything more itself. You keep this magic human by remaining human yourself. You let people see the small repairs you make while the bruise is still light, the way you breathe before replying when a sentence arrives armed, the way you end a good conversation while it is still good and bless it with an ordinary goodbye. Eyes learn from such behavior. They carry tomorrow's manners because you modeled them today. A glance from you becomes a quiet contract. I will not turn your story into equipment. I will not rush your truth to fill my hunger. I will not mistake your beauty for permission. Contracts like that are signed without ink. The signature is the way a person's shoulders forget to brace when your attention finds them. There will be moments when someone tries to hire your gaze for purposes it refuses. The room will offer you the job of judge or savior or spectacle. You decline with a softness that leaves no bruise. You let your eyes remain a sanctuary rather than a sentencing. You carry them to the window when you need a horizon, to water when you need forgiveness, to sleep when you need to protect your edge from turning sharp. Because you keep the lamp trimmed, you can keep the lamp kind. And so when eyes meet you, they don't worship and they don't retreat. They remember. They remember a face they knew before fear started renting space in their expression. They remember a rhythm that didn't bill them for breathing. They remember their soul, and for a while after, they live as if remembering were enough.